Hello, we are Aquamarine Technology, and we are going to give you guys a presentation on our solution here of a problem that was in our backyard. It's not working again. So in the last 24 hours, our team of international scientists and visionary entrepreneurs came up with a solution to solve a real-life problem. We have lots of seaweed in our backyards, not only here in the Baltics, but all over the world. And it's a significant problem that affects tourism on the coastlines. It's, there's nasty smells that come out of it. It really just impacts, this is not necessarily, it is a two-phase problem. Obviously, there are negative impacts to the environment, within the seaweed that we can solve. But we had to, in the last 24 hours, really focus on solving the actual problem at hand. So tourism impact was one of the biggest. There's also other components we had to take into consideration, how to predict where the seaweed's going to be. We had to create these predictive models to understand. So we're going to have teams of people doing that as well. So there's a lot of innovation. We also thought about ideas of rapid testing for heavy metals and other things. But we're not going to cover that in too much detail during this presentation because we want to focus on solving these immediate problems. So once we got the seaweed, we also have to do something with it. So I'd like to introduce you to some of the main products that we came up with. Our main real product here is not only the seaweed collection, which is kind of boring. I mean, we didn't innovate any new ways to collect seaweed because that's already exists. It's actually a big benefit to us because it's a turnkey solution, right? It's quick, it's fast, we can get the collection of seaweed. We're not farming seaweed, we are strictly collecting it. So obviously that's part of our process. We also have the C-Wrap product that we've developed, and that is a sustainable food packaging from seaweed. And I just happen to get paired with food scientists that are absolutely incredible from Lithuania. And these guys, they knew all about this product. They knew how to process it. They knew how to, add additives to it. And we're going to talk a little bit later about that. So it's an eco-friendly packaging using the seaweed that we collect. It's a no-waste idea. And then to continue with the no-waste, we have biofuel that we can create from the seaweed. We're not looking to become an energy company. We're just looking to create ourselves a no-waste sustainable business. So natural fertilizer is another one. We have partners, agricultural people in the region, that are looking for the actual byproducts that you get from seaweed, so we can use it for fertilizer, soil amendments. They're waiting for this. They need it, and we're here to provide it. So it is absolutely 100% ready for production. We don't have the numbers specifically because in 24 hours it's very hard to get the actual data, but we can tell you that the technology exists today to get started. So really it's about, putting this into action. We have ports that are available. We have municipalities that are enthusiastic to build up their ports. We have the farmers waiting for the products. We have packaging companies that want these sustainable products, and we want the people themselves that need them as well. So pretty much this solution is ready to go. It's a potential. It's almost it's in the billions when you think about the numbers for this. So everything has been proven. It's all there. The science is there. These guys know some of the new technologies and the new things that we can do, which kind of takes us to I was talking about the size and the scope. This is a $9 billion market in seaweed. There's upwards of over 100,000 jobs predicted to be created in this industry. We can get a head start on this quick. We can become a global leader. We can be scaled and just move on to different regions of the world because seaweed is a global thing. So introducing you to C-Wrap, our solution. We have vegetable glycerin additives, which is basically it's rapeseed, which is abundant in this region. Lots of farmers grow rapeseed. We can produce this vegetable glycerin to add the UV properties to our C-Wrap product, which is the raw material now. This is not the packaging, the final product. We're not a packaging company. We're a packaging raw material producer. So we produce the rolls that we send off to the packaging companies. Those guys are going to be doing, the egg cartons, the whatever the end product that you're going to get in the store. That's not our responsibility. We're basically the collectors, the raw material creator. We create this UV resistant, water resistant, oil resistant packaging as well, which is kind of our signature. We believe that's going to set us aside from competitors and give us a lead. And that went on its own. So I spoke about the vegetable glycerin coming from rapeseed, readily available, also opens up the market for farmers to sell to us in addition to global markets. And I spoke about easily deployable. And finally, I'd like to let you meet our team. Yeah. I think there's just two. So I'd like to introduce you to our team.
Hi, I'm Ernestus, and I'm dedicated to discovering cost-effective, eco-friendly materials through rigorous scientific innovation.
I'll just make the packaging plan, how to make the packaging, all the steps. I'll just look through them.
My name is Violeta, and I am a quality control. I will just be making sure that I will make sure about the standards, so like the quality control, solving problems, and also sustainability of standards.
And I'm Jason, the Chief Visionary Officer. My goal is to make sure that the vision of the company is set forward in the right direction and everybody is happy and creating wonderful solutions, and we can grow this company to a global powerhouse. And with that, the type of partnerships we're looking for today, since all the technologies exist, we're looking for someone who can help us bring a CEO on board and develop an actual team, and obviously bring in the resources to get the facilities built and work out the logistics and all that. So we're ready to go. We're ready to open up some jobs and make it happen. Thank you.
I like the idea. Great job. Loving it.
No questions? I'm surprised. I have to ask the first ones? Okay, good. Then I have the main question. You showed that it's really pretty much the market is very impressive, I would like to say. And also it's will solve a lot of problems. The first question is on the second slide. That was AI image? It was impressive. I was even sitting and thinking where that can be at that moment and what these people are doing there with their asses in there. And that actually catched my attention. And that was really impressive. Yeah. Then the next question is, what do you estimate, what investment amount would you need to start operations? Just estimate. I'm not asking for the dollar counting.
It's quite interesting. It depends on, my vision is a harvester just to get started, right? I don't want to be in the business of purchasing the raw materials from producers because that doesn't solve the problem. So I see a harvester being purchased probably if we can get something used, that'd be great, but the seaweed harvester, 500,000, let's estimate, maybe more. Some sort of barge to collect the material itself, and then the facilities, it can be upwards, probably 10, 20 million is probably a good estimate for maybe to get started. Because again, this is just, we want to produce the raw material in rolls, very basic. We don't want to go to two extremes. But we do want to create the biodiesel production facility as well. We do want to scale this solution. So I assume that it's going to grow into I'm hoping to tap into the $1 billion potential versus just stick to a $500,000 a year company. No, this is too big of a market to just turn it into a $1 million investment to make $500,000. No, I want to look bigger than this. I want to tap into, let's work with the Baltics first. There's at least 1,500 miles of kilometers of coastline that we can start with, and Sweden's got another 3,000 kilometers of coastline. There's a lot of coastline in the Baltics. The Baltics is very dirty. We didn't talk about the microplastics that we can also filter out, because today, if we were to clean this out and just dump it somewhere, that's terrible. But there's also fertilizer market. So there's income potentials from that, revenue from that. It goes on. The ports are going to become active, trucking. It's more of an impact than just this facility cleaning coastlines. So the impact is large. I suspect it's not a small investment. We need to bring the
No, that's very good. That it means it's a large-scale investment project, and that means that it can be rather interesting also from the investment point of view. because there is no difference. Are you managing 100,000 euro project or 10 million project? The same costs are for the person who is doing this management. So this is one thing. Yeah, the second thing is also how do you estimate? Okay, to buy the barge, to buy the harvester, it is okay, 1 month, 2-3 months challenge. But when you are going to set up the factory and start producing the product, shall it be some 2, 3, 4, 5 year project approximately before you are starting to have some earnings? Is the market ready for? You are saying that there is this agriculture guys who are ready to take this as a fertilizer, but will they be really ready, or this is your estimations? Are they ready to pay for it?
Well, I have one of our potential buyers in the room today. Yeah. So hopefully we. So hopefully we could. All right. So it all boils down. This is the real life situation here. My background is also in agriculture, so knowing that if the test results are good, I mean, again, we're in a very contaminated area, and the reason why we decided on packaging and is because it is a highly contaminated zone, the Baltics, and one of the advantages we have is if we're creating biofuel with this, the contamination levels are not as important as it is for organic farming. So organic farmers are dying for this kind of product. We've been all over the Scandinavian coast looking for producers of this. A lot of times their test levels don't come in at the acceptable rates. So that's not the end of the world, because fertilizer could be, you can use it to amend soils that are non-organic as well, right? Like it's just, I just happen to have a buyer that's ready to go. She's looking for actual, this product. So it is. I know that there are other organic farmers that are also seeking this. We have to ship it in. If it's local to the Baltics, there is none. To this day, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, there are no suppliers of Iceland is like the closest for us. So this would
as a natural fertilizers or specifically seaweed?
Specifically
Specifically seaweed, because for organic farms, the organic sources are very limited, especially in Latvia, because the animal farms are reducing in size and in quantity, and manure is not accessible. So only options that we have available are organic compounds that some companies produce that are also as a byproduct, like those sheep wool and everything. But to process those is very costly. So the closest, I know that, for instance, in U.S., the kelp seaweed is used for soil amendments, and it's also used as a supplement for animals and animal feeds, and also pets for dogs and cats, and even for human consumption, because it has a lot of micro elements in that we cannot get from the farming, from the soil. And yeah, so
It's a zero waste company too. Idea like when we develop this, we all are environmental friendly people. We want to make sure that everything we had a huge scope in the beginning, and we analyzed this giant scope of things that we can do with this product. I mean, the byproducts that you can create from it's a waste that is very useful. But today it's just the utilization of, that's why it's so important as part of this project, is the utilization of this waste. It might be a problem to the coastlines, but it's not something that you can just, like, why throw it away? It's very useful and it has application.
Okay, I prepared my questions. Here I am. So the first question I have regarding the cost of the product, because if you're talking packaging, there is a plastic packaging that exists. Producers are not that eager to switch unless they are made, like, by law to switch, right? So what's the cost? We talked earlier regarding the leather. The team admitted officially is going to be more costly. So will it be, what's the cost?
Again, without further analysis, I can't give you a specific number, but I can tell you that the process to create it is just like an elementary school process of creating paper. Just imagine the process, like you grind it down, you make a pulp, and it's exactly like making paper. So the cost really is on the collection and the well, we are. That is our yeah. No, harvesters. So the business model is, well, it's fuel and machinery.
So people collecting, then you're like
Well,
transporting it, then you're doing it.
I mean, it's no different than a farm.
What's the cost?
mean the cost is going to be low? Because you don't know what the numbers for the logistics or the like the harvester.
Yeah, so that's why we are strategically also placed. Like, if we partner with a port, like in Vidzeme, for example, like if our clients are in Vidzeme, our port is in Vidzeme, our seaweed is in the Baltic, you know, ships are very inexpensive compared to any other form of transport. So if you're trucking something, you know, paper, or, you know, we got to figure out where all the paper mills and think about how to transport the paper and all that. If we have the facilities in Vidzeme and we're servicing the Vidzeme region, and then the product that we produce, we just throw it onto a ship and ship it across the world, it's kind of a good centralized point to lower those costs. But we're also getting paid to collect it, so you can't forget, like, we're getting paid to get rid of somebody's trash, and then we're using it to make money. So really, you're eliminating like if our customer, the potential customer, wants to buy this, they have to pay shipping costs, and then they have to pay somebody who harvested it, and they have to make money. So like really, the cost to the farmer is we're gonna be very competitive to that, because obvious reasons, right? You know, if we were gonna sell the byproduct, you know, in fertilizer form, it's going to be a lot less than if somebody had to well, I mean, that's business, right?
Still, I mean, no numbers, so it's not a fact.
I mean, correct. So we're seeking.
Putting it as a fact, but it's not yet a fact. Will it be competitive? Like, what's the price point? But it's a great project.
Yeah, we're eliminating an entire component of the chain.
I have a question regarding the seasonality. These seaweeds, they are not the season all around. They are somewhere in the spring, maybe somewhere in the summer, maybe in the autumn. How about the seasonality?
So because it's a scalable solution, we were discussing that, and it's like the way that we can handle that is that the harvesters and the barges can move with the seasons and with the seaweed. So with our predictive modeling, we can know exactly where to send our it's kind of like ships today and shipping routes. Like, they might be in Asia, you know, at some point, you know, you logistically work it out so that we move with the seaweed. And then
You mean that the ship that will be processing the seaweed will also move together with the barge?
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you. You have some questions?
Yeah, just one. The last question I had was regarding the type of seaweed. Does it in any way matter? Because there are different types of seaweed, right? So each country, each shore has a different type of seaweed. Does it matter which one do you need?
For durability, it is provided by coating. So if you coat it in rapeseeds with glycerin, there's no difference essentially, and the glycerin is quite cheap. We have a lot of it.
I also wanted to add, you're probably asking the type of seaweed, where it locates in the water, whether it's the seaweed, you know, that maybe is dangling down at the bottom or top or on the shore. Like, does the type of seaweed matter? Our goal is to eliminate it before it even gets on the shore. So we're eliminating the problematic seaweed. That's the seaweed we're going to be dealing with. And like you mentioned, I mean, we can add additives to even make things stronger. But it's the chemical composition of the seaweed is pretty much versatile. We're moving away from the fossil fuel stuff, you know, more towards carbon based, right?
Okay, super. There is some more questions? Yeah. Where? Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, I'm sorry for. No, I'm sorry for letting this go on so long. But I had just one question. You just mentioned now that you have the harvesters will also function with the goal to sort of remove seaweed that could become problematic, right? That's something that you mentioned. Correct. Right, correct. Like, how is it like, and I don't mean this in a mean way, how is it environmentally friendly to like remove seaweed that produces oxygen? Right, because these seaweeds, I mean, they're still plants, right? They still produce plenty amounts of oxygen, and actually approximately 50 to 70% of our oxygen comes from under the ocean. So could you perhaps elaborate on that?
So the idea is not to eliminate all the seaweed. The idea is to eliminate the seaweed that is already on its way to infiltrate the shores, right? And I'm from South Florida, and I don't know if you guys have ever experienced like rotting seaweed. but like people with health problems, I mean, it could actually cause like harm to humans and animals and fish populations. I mean, anytime you have like a large amount of seaweed on a coastline and it's just decomposing and rotting, it could really affect it. It also adds to the degradation of your coastlines. So this issue goes beyond just, you know, it's not the seaweed that's alive in the ocean, you know, like it's not that, it's more sustainable than that. This is seaweed that's already on its way to become a problem on the coast. So that's part of our predictive modeling to make sure that we get it right before it's going to become a problem on the coast. Yeah.
And up to 20 tons of seaweed is on the coastline per square kilometer. So yeah, just not even the seaweed that's going to the coastline, but already on the coastline, it's already big.
20 tons per square kilometer?
Up to 20
Per kilometer.
Yeah. So as I understand correctly, then you are going to pick up these dead seaweeds that are already on the coastline, not the live ones that are still in the sea.
Correct. End of life. I mean, we want to make sure that it's at its end of life. I mean, once it's reached this point, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's also a balance. I mean, you have customers that are requesting, like tourists is an industry, and if they want this off their beaches, I mean, your goal is to try to reduce that problem, right? And I think if you get it just before it gets onto the beach, you can solve that problem.
These are customers?
They're customers. And if they're unhappy, they won't come back, so there might be one-time customers.